Hi, Scorpio. I hope you had a great Christmas and happy holidays and a happy new year. So, up on your screen, first off, I'm putting up the planetary alignments and certain planets that will be relevant to you. I've customized each year ahead for each sign because some energies will be more um, felt by some signs and not others, and so forth. So, if you want to take a screenshot of this and then you can follow along with me, or just at your leisure, you can compare it to your natal chart and see if the degrees match any in your natal chart. And if you hear snoring, that's my pug. Okay, so that's January, February, March, April. A lot going on in April for you. May, June, July, August, September, October, and November, and December. And I'll only be really hitting, maybe I went too fast on that one. I'll only be hitting on major aspects because I do detailed monthly horoscopes. So I'll be doing the major aspects for this. And I'm using a generic video editor, so if I had to speed up the video so I can fit a lot of information in. So if it's going way too fast for you, you can click on the YouTube video and a tools icon will appear, and you can go into the speed and slow it down if it's too fast for you. Okay, so and I'm not going to have a generic intro, so I'm going to get straight into your sign. Okay, so I've what we have the themes for 2025, and I've titled it like this. It's the very recent past slash present, and then we'll be thrust into the future. That's the second theme. And then the third theme will be we are going back to the past. Um, and let me just touch on Pluto in Aquarius really fast here because I will not be discussing that through the rest of the video, mainly because I have already completed a dedicated Pluto in Aquarius video for each sign. And actually, I take you 5 years into the future because I thought doing just a year ahead doesn't really give you something to bite on, because it's a 20-year transit. And already now in January, we're only at 1 degree of Aquarius. So I chose not to upload that video until I finish these videos for the year. And as you can see, we're almost at the end of the first week. Sorry, oh Lordy, this is I have a full-time job and I have a lot of things going on, and I'm trying to grow this channel. So it's hard doing all that. Hopefully, if you guys like this content, with your help, I can make this a full-time thing. But yeah, it's a year ahead, so you can even listen to it at the end of January. In any case, Pluto and Aquarius. So Aquarius is your fourth house of home, family, your parents, your mother and father, um, your physical home, of course. So it doesn't have to be a house; it can be an apartment or whatever dwelling. It also covers like patriotism, your country, your clan, and it can be your immediate nucleus family. Like you may have your own family besides your parents. Okay, so Aquarius is a very well. It's an air sign, and it's said to be the genius of the zodiac because it it's a very futuristic sign. So it really goes forward ahead of all gathering information, and it comes back and it gives us all that futuristic knowledge. So that jug that you see that they're pouring water out of, it's really just the knowledge. It's an air sign. It's not a water sign, and it is really concerned about groups, friends, and circles. Um, and but there's a type of hierarchy to Aquarius. But in any case, I'm not going to get into that. Like I said, about all the details because I do have the dedicated video. But I wanted to let you know that your theme will be um, regarding your own home and family, and it can again be your nucleus family or it can be your parents, and you will be moving, renovating. A lot will be renovating, downsizing, upgrading, something about your home. And but there is a theme for you of travel. So You might be between two homes, or you might be setting up home somewhere far. Well, far for you, maybe. Um, and it's a very emotionally rooted home, um, because it covers the past and your upbringing, your conditioning, and a lot of things that we may not be conscious of. So you are going to go through all that, but it will not be like Pluto was in Capricorn. You're actually used to Pluto, Pluto's energy, because you are ruled by Pluto, and you have a second ruler, Mars, as well. Um, but Pluto is the god of the underworld, the god of destruction and regeneration, rules taboos and secrets, the past, intimacy, and all that. But Pluto is all about fear, confronting your fear, control, and power struggles, or the power. So when it was in Capricorn, and Capricorn is it's a winter sign, so it's dark and cold. Capricorn is very strict. It's conservative. It's a stern sign. Um, I mean, Capricorns are lovely people. They're very nice. Some of Capricorns and Scorpions are very good friends, actually, and would disagree with me and say, well, they're actually really very fun loving and wild. And yes, that's true as well. But their essence, it's the goat, and if you've seen the picture, it's half goat, half fish, so it can go down to the deepest depths of the ocean, and it's a social climber. It climbs to the highest, steepest cliffs, if you've ever seen a goat. So it's an intense sign. And Pluto being in Capricorn was a very, very intense time, because we had that double dark energy almost for about 18 years. And you went through a lot, which I'll explain. But you were not alone. We all went through that. Now, just to cover a little bit about Scorpio, your sign, and a lot of you are into astrology, but for the sake of new listeners, bear with us, I guess. So, Scorpio, if you've ever seen a scorpion on the beach or wherever in Arizona, there's plenty of them. If you've ever seen them, they're very still, and you almost think that it's not alive or something. Um, but if you like poke it, or all of a sudden you'll see they'll move, and they'll move so fast that you might be startled. You Scorpions are like that. They're very, very still. They listen a lot. They internalize. They take in. But once you guys start moving, you also move very fast, in a lot of ways, with whatever decisions you are. Scorpions are very, very intense, um, but they're really very misunderstood. Scorpions are said to be the best friend you can have, because they're faithful. Yes, each scorpion has their own test. And don't say you don't, because you do. You test. And if that person passes your test, then that's it. They can do no wrong. But if they don't, that's it. They're on your shit list, let's say. How does the saying go? Cancer forgives but cannot forget. Scorpions never forgive. They have to get back, to get you back before they can move on. Um, but that's just how you're made. I mean, it's a do or die situation with scorpions, mainly because they want that loyalty. Loyalty is what I'm trying to say. And if you ever see a Scorpio, the thing about Scorpios is their eyes. There's something about their eyes that is very captivating. Some of them have a sparkle, some kind of thing that draws you in. Yeah, it's something about their eyes. Um, Many Scorpions' main concern has been about a job, definitely about a relationship, whether it be a love, romance, or a child, and also very important about health or routine. Um, let's go back to friend. Many of you have lost a friend, or have had maybe a falling out with a friend. Excuse me, I'll discuss that, but it's mainly because of these major shifts that we've had and we are going to have. So it may feel, if you haven't lost a friend, it may feel that you've drifted apart. Because the thing about scorpions is that They really need that special friend to connect with, to center, because you guys really don't like to be in like leadership roles, and when it gets really intense with you, um, you you feel almost like you're losing control, or it just spirals for you guys, and you may panic that way, and that's when most lash out. But it's just a call for help, and not a lot of people understand that. That's why I said you're very misunderstood. So that special friend is really, really important for you, and you've either drifted apart from a friend or lost a friend, but we'll get to that now. um, Regarding when you feel instability and or loss of control, feelings of losing control, um, and you want to control that lashing out, uh, uh, I'll give you a couple of solutions that may help. Is one, you are a water sign, and for a lot of you, you are not by water. You might be somewhere where it's landlocked, and I'll explain that you will be moving somewhere around water, but always try to have like those little mini fountains in your house. They're really small. You can put it on a desk. That, or just being by water, meditating that way will really, really, really help you. Um, and then be still, but not to like plan revenge or organize or something. Be still in like being disciplined, and you can do that. um, and find that friend that you drifted apart from, and do the talk, because that is really going to help you. Okay. uh, and with you drifting apart, or like I said, it might have been like a falling out. It's because, again, Scorpions are really intense and don't like to look or seem helpless. And why? Well, because you're always the one who this friend or people rely on to solve their problems, because you have this great insight. You're able to see through the dark. um, Also, because you really, like I said, don't like this leadership role. You like somebody always beside you, to bounce ideas off of or issues off of. But your strength says otherwise. So it's more psychological, um, regarding, not having this friend, or thinking that, you're powerless, or whatever. And Pluto and Aquarius will help you with that journey, because it is going into your fourth house of roots and your conditioning, and revisiting all that, clearing it up, and getting your power. um, Regarding the water thing, is many of Scorpios before, the older ones, and even fairly younger ones, had a water theme past. um, but now, like I said, you could be away, and again, mentioning, you will be going to maybe living by the ocean, or having some kind of a career in water. So that is going to be helping you a lot. Like I said, energies are shifting so much, so that everything is possible. And God, in His wisdom, the universe, is setting us up for everything that will help us through these next big journeys. Okay. Okay, so the very recent past, excuse me. Um, so Pluto and Capricorn is your third house of communication devices, commuting. It covers siblings and cousins, or extended family. It language, your need to be heard. It covers also vision, the eyes, um, and the third house is ruled by Gemini. So news, information, people that are very informative like that. And this last 18-year journey for you has been intense, uh, really mostly concerning your communication. So, like I said, because you are an intense sign, and you do that lashing out, you've discovered that works against you in ways that, if you were to soften the way you communicate, um, and be more compassionate, or more disciplined, rather, in your communication style, that opened a lot of doors for you. I mean, the cliche about bees are attracted to honey more than they are to vinegar is just um, is a cliche, but you went through a long journey of discovering this communication that now you have the power of. Okay, because Pluto, like I said, took you deep, dark down to make you face a fear you had about communicating, about a sibling, excuse me, about cousins or communication devices, excuse me, about a language. Some of you might have picked up a new language, and and you had control and power issues here as well. Um, I'm just going over my notes when I'm quiet. Sorry, and that's the whole thing about being misunderstood. But now you're getting it. You got it. Now you do use some type of a softer or more reserved communication style. Okay, um, and let's see. Let's move on to, yeah. We don't want to spend too much time in the past, so let's move on to the Pluto versus Mars situation, the very famous Pluto versus Mars situation that destroyed a lot of things this past November. So Mars is also your ruler, your co-ruler, and you're mostly used to that energy as well. Mars is the god of war. He rules Aries, and Aries is all about image and being first. And Mars only knows one thing, and it is going forward, but vigorously, and with heat. So, for example, if you want something, Mars will say, "What do you want?" And you'll say, "I want that." And he's like, "All right, let's go, let's go, let's go." I mean, he doesn't stop to think about consequences or shortcuts or whatever. He just goes for it, and he is fearless, completely fearless. Um, and Pluto is more fearless as in a confidence because he is the god of the underworld. He actually rules a different a parallel universe. He wasn't with his brothers Zeus and Neptune. He was able to permeate. He's able to permeate back and forth where all the gods could not permeate the underworld and so forth. And Pluto rules riches, the minerals of the earth and the seeds. So he has a lot of power, a lot of control, and because he is the god of the underworld, he rules fear. A lot of people fear Pluto. So when Mars comes up against him, and like I said, Mars is fearless. He doesn't care if there's a dragon in front of him, a behemoth, or it's a baby. He just runs right through. Uh, and Pluto just stands there and says, "Okay, you want me? Come at me, come at me. I got you. I'm your Huckleberry." And Mars will go. uh, Pluto will go to Mars, and Mars will go at it because Pluto wants that destruction. Because, like I said, he wants destruction to transform, to make you face that fear. So when Mars entered Cancer at the end of September, we started feeling this intensity because it was going to come up to butt heads with Pluto November 3rd. And it was an applying opposition. So we started feeling this heat in September and October. And then the exact opposition was on November 3rd. And many of you could have felt it before or after. It really depends on the natal chart, your natal chart, and what degrees, your natal chart has, and if it matched it. So Mars was in Cancer at the time of the opposition to Pluto in Capricorn at that time. So Cancer is your ninth house of travel, higher education, foreigners, foreign lands, publishing, um, the World Wide Web, and philosophy. It can also be about the law in some instances. But it was Cancer, and natally, Cancer rules the family and mostly the mother. And Pluto, like I said, was in your communication device. Many of you did undertake a long distance travel then, or were working on something about that. Some of you it could have been about education, if you were students, or if you were like in the teaching field, maybe professors or what have you. Maybe you were doing publishing, or if you were students too, you could have started your thesis and your master's or your doctorate. Um, so something came to a head, something exploded here between your ninth house of travel, foreigners, and education, and your communication and your immediate neighborhood for or cousin siblings. and there was a fallout. Something ended. Now we'll discuss that fallout. What we did with that dust storm. Um, but then Pluto moved on to Aquarius and your fourth home of family, and then Mars went into Leo, and Leo is your 10th house of career, status, reputation, and authority figures. So something, and Leo also rules the fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. So you started diligently working also about something about a job or a career. Maybe some of you lost jobs or were looking for jobs or were thinking like, this is not going to do it, because some of you have some money issues, and maybe you don't have a job and you're looking for something, or you're trying to uh, form a business or a partnership or something in that nature, and there's this love, romance, or a child involved in all this. Okay, that's where you, and then again, this Pluto thing going on. There's yes, the exact opposition was on November 3rd, but then it started releasing, but gearing up for another opposition. We're going to have we've had two oppositions. There will be another third final opposition between Pluto and Mars, and I'll discuss that later. But then Mars, your ruler, started going retrograde. Um, it was going direct in Cancer. We had the opposition, and then it moved into a Leo, and then it started going retrograde in December. Excuse me. Now in December, that's Capricorn month. So the fallout we had between Mars in Cancer and Pluto in Capricorn, those endings, that's dust storm. Then we started seeing compromises in December, uh, because those relationships, that fallout is important. There's something there. So the first week we saw the first compromise or talk of it. Then the second time we saw compromise further discussed was during the winter solstice, right before Christmas. Then the final and third compromise or new way forward was discussed, or an opportunity was presented, or you seeded something of a new way forward during the new moon in Capricorn at the end of December, so around New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And let me just check my notes really fast, please. So, yeah, so we start January with Scorpios either having accomplished something, uh, but at the cost of something else. Okay, because of that Mars Pluto opposition. Or you could be feeling a sense of loss, um, and wanting do-overs, or some, you're starting off with like some kind of a regret and revisiting all that has been done. And that's what exactly Mars will be doing in Leo and Cancer. He is now retrograde and revisiting those points, those degrees. And Mars hates it, absolutely hates going backwards, because that is not what Mars was made out for. So even when he's going retrograde, he's actually going forward, but just like almost going through mud, sticky mud, and he'll still go forward. Some planets are really more powerful when they go backwards, because Mars is like I said, dredging forward. He might even be tunneling through the Pluto's underworld so he can get him back. um, but yeah, you are revisiting that area of all this, the fallout, or what have you. So we had the second opposition between Mars and Pluto on the 2nd of January, but you could have felt it before, or you can even feel it maybe at the end of January. It doesn't matter. This Pluto versus Mars deal we're going to have through the first few months. The only thing that I wanted to relate to you with Mars being retrograde here is that it's not outward energy. Okay, it's internal conflict, and if you try to exercise that energy outwards, you get pushed back that much harder because it's retrograde. So try to use self discipline with that. Okay, because you're meant now to um, think about why the fallout, what happened, and so forth. Because that, of course, Mars will start going forward, and you will have had that confidence of revisiting, and you'll go direct. You'll get what you want, but you will go on a stronger footing. So think about that. And let's just do January because this is the January and 2025 and year ahead. So also on the second, Venus entered Pisces, and Pisces is your fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. So whatever issues happened regarding that, Venus will now start smoothing things out. Venus attracts love, fortune, and fame, and money. So you might be seeing those kind of qualities regarding your fifth house of love and romance, okay, and children. On the 6th, Mars will leave Leo and enter Cancer, and it's still going retrograde now. So, whatever you were working in earnest and with urgency in October regarding your travel and higher education, you will be revisiting that. And then, whatever fallout um, between Mars and Pluto that happened on November 3rd that I discussed, whether you accomplished something but a loss of something else, or you had a loss, you will be now revisiting that area. Mars will go over those degrees. Now, on the 11th, we will have the lunar nodes enter Pisces and Virgo. They're leaving Aries and Libra, and I'll discuss that more when I explain to you what the eclipses will be doing, because that's part of the future and that is a 2-year transit. So that's significant as well. On the 13th, watch the 13th because we do have a full moon in Cancer. Okay. Again, that is your ninth house of travel and education and foreigners. Um, so something is ending here, or it could be a fruition um, or a culmination of your past efforts. And yes, it does include everything that went on in October that you were busy about, and that beginning of November. And it's still not done because we still have Mars going through Cancer. But why I say watch this, because you'll get a sneak peek. A veil will be lifted where you will see that theme play out when Mars is retrograding in Cancer, and then when it goes direct in Cancer, and you get what you want. So here, this full moon ending or fruition will be that theme that you get a sneak peek at when Mars goes direct in Cancer and finishes its tour of Cancer. I believe it is February, March, April, in that. But I'll discuss those, and I have the dates on that alignment. You can look at it. Also, on the 16th of January, the Sun in Capricorn will oppose Mars in Cancer retrograde. The Sun illuminates things, okay, and the Sun here is illuminating something that happened regarding your third house of communication, siblings and cousins, that maybe was not revealed to you or to others. It's bringing it out into the light, and it is also highlighting this opposition that you had um, with Mars. But there's challenging oppositions and there's good oppositions, okay? And the challenging one, of course, was that November 3rd one. But this opposition might be good. Why? Because the Sun is the Leo's ruler, and the Sun is the nurturing father. And Leo rules the fifth house of love and romance. And Cancer is the ruler of family and home and the mother. It's nurture. It's the nurturing mother. So each of these signs is in their benefit for each of them to get something. Oppositions, remember, are either or. It's not like a square. It's not like a tense aspect where there's wiggle room. Oppositions are my way or the highway, for example. But uh, some oppositions are good where each realize that there should be some benefit to another. So watch the 16th. There is still that opposition, but there is something that's good about this. And don't forget, Mars is retrograde in Cancer, so don't push regarding your ninth house of travel and education, because if you push for too much, that's where you'll get pushed that much harder, because it is also the Sun. The Sun is very powerful. And then we have on the 18th or the 21st, the Sun will conjunct Aquarius. And this is kind of big for you, Scorpio, because Aquarius is your fourth house of home and family and parents and country. And here the Sun is illuminating something about your family situation, or giving you like a sneak peek of this tour of Pluto and Aquarius as well. There is some tense aspects here with the Sun conjunct Aquarius. But again, like I told you, I have that dedicated video that we'll discuss, that I'll upload and you can hear. 23rd of January, Mercury in Capricorn this time will oppose Mars retrograde in Cancer. So remember on the 16th, I said the Sun opposes Mars, and it might be beneficial. It might be, an equal benefit. Well, on the 23rd, whatever the Sun illuminated and was discussed, on the 23rd, Mercury rules contracts and agreements and thinking. So on the 23rd, you start discussing or maybe signing or communicating how to go forward with that opposition that happened, and how each one would benefit in what capacity. So that covers January, and I will now talk about the future items, and then at the end I'll discuss only the major aspects for February through December. And there's just a little bit of them, which I will be covering right now when I'm discussing how we'll be thrust into the future. So the first topic I'm going to discuss with you is the eclipses. Okay, that are changing signs mid-January. Now, eclipses are something that a major start or a major end. So major beginnings and endings with eclipses, and they're karmic in nature. So for the past 18 months to 2 years, the North Node was in Aries, and that is your sixth house of health habits, routines, scheduling, taking care of someone, and pets. Pets are also inclusive of the sixth house. And Libra is your 12th house of the past, of behind the scenes work, research, secrets. It covers faith, huge faith house here, whether religious or not. It covers your psyche, okay, the way you think. It also covers like drug or alcohol use here, any confining spaces as well, in the 12th house, and it can also cover taking care of someone too. Okay, so for the past 2 years, you've had this repetitive opposition between your sixth house of busyness and your 12th house of being alone. There was something that you were concentrating on regarding being alone or your psyche or the past that really inhibited your daily routine. It sort of, because it's your psyche, whatever you were doing, your daily habits and routines, it inhibited it. And what what Aries was trying to do, your daily habits and routines, was wanted freedom from this 12th house of the past in your psyche, kept opposing it. And I will also mention that Aries, your sixth house, is, like I said, the me first sign and ruled by Mars, and it's it doesn't like going backward either. It's only a forward motion sign, and it's very concerned about image and appearance. It's the me first sign. And then Libra is all about relationships, partnerships of any kind, and it's for the most part it's a codependent sign. It can be a needy sign. Excuse me. So with this 2 year repetitive cycle, could have included something about your image, also about wanting to be free, to be able to be you, to do your daily routines, um, and then that neediness of your 12th house of the past could have included something about relationships or partnerships. Okay, so keep that in mind. But that ends mid January. That neediness, that codependency ends magically. But that's what eclipses do. Okay, they are the beginning to the end of an ending and the beginning of a beginning. So now, mid January, the North Node will leave Aries and it will enter Pisces, and the South Node will leave Libra and it will enter Virgo. For you, Pisces is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, and pets, and it can include gambling. Um, And Virgo is your 11th house of friends, a friend, groups, and circles, any kind of association. A gym association can be considered here. It is also, the 11th house is also your hopes, wishes, and dreams of the future. It can also represent a second serious relationship or a second marriage. It can include that. I'm not saying that that is, but I'm just letting you know. Now, Virgo also rules the sixth house of health, habits, and routines. Excuse me. And Pisces, like I said, is your fifth house of love, but Pisces also rules faith and secrets in the past. So now we'll start to see a repetitive push pull between your fifth house of love, romance, and children, which is inclusive of something regarding secrets or the past, and then we'll see some kind of neediness or codependency coming from, not necessarily codependency because it's not Libra, but something that's regarding your friends groups, but it could also include health and routine. Okay, and it is karmic. The nodes, like I said, eclipses, nodal eclipses are karmic. So think back to 18, 19 years ago. So it's karma coming up. You either need to pay or you get paid. And to give you a clue, think back to September 13, 14, or 15. We had an eclipse in Pisces. Yeah, it was a lunar eclipse. So that may give you a clue. Um, but like I said, um, these are gearing up. Yes, it can be endings and beginnings, but the beginning can include, it can be a partner that becomes transformed, because remember, we're all going through this transformation that you had too. So it can be like an old person becomes brand new again. But in any case, just for the sake of explaining eclipses for you, it's about beginnings and endings. Okay. Um, so that's all I'm going to cover regarding the eclipses, because I'm going to do your yearly lineup and we'll discuss that more. Now, the big story, that was a big story with eclipse. It's a 2 year thing that you've been going through. But another big transformation thrust in the future is Neptune and Saturn, changing signs from Pisces into Aries. Okay. So again, for the sake of new listeners, if you're a returning listener, bear with us, or for for all of you guys pros at astrology, um, bear with us as I explain a little bit on what Neptune has been doing in Pisces. So Neptune entered its home sign of Pisces on Valentine's Day 2012 permanently up until now. That's 14 years. That's a long transit. And it's coming to an end. So that's why these astrologers are all harping about new things, new way forward, new life, blah, blah, blah. And Neptune, well, Pisces, remember, is your fifth house of love, romance, and children, and creativity and pets, gambling. Neptune rules the ocean, and the ocean is vast, and it rules the sea. It rules oil. It rules fragrances, um, alcohol, drugs, the movie and music industry. It's the sirens' calls to the sailors. It rules mist and fog. Um, it is the planet of illusions and dreams, and disillusionment and concealment of some sort. So the best way to describe Neptune is, it has a purpose. It idealizes something. It romanticizes something. And the best simple example is, like, for example, if you step in a pool or the ocean to go swimming, at first it's freezing and you could barely handle it. But once you dip inside, your entire body dips inside. It's strangely, you get used to it. You're numb to that freezing cold. Your body, simply adjusts magically. And that's Neptune's role, is for anything that's harsh, tragic, hard, um, etc. It numbs you to that. It makes you see the better side of it. It romanticizes it. And and it was, and Neptune was extremely powerful because it was in its own sign of Pisces. Now we've been left to our own devices with Neptune here since 2012, and a lot of us became lost in the sea. It felt really dreamy, and it felt like an escape, like a vacation. You enjoyed this fifth house of romance and love, and it became really nice. So you might have idealized a lover, um, or a romance, or you were just head over heels about a child, and you had, all these dreams and hopes about it. um, and and also, I'm going to reiterate again, Pisces also rules faith and secrets in the past and all that. Now, you you, like I said, you might have gotten lost. Now, in 2023, Saturn came in with a thump. He entered Pisces and gave us all a wake up call. Okay, reality checks started. Saturn is the god of restriction, inhibition, of constraint, of rules and boundaries. And Saturn is so misunderstood. He's actually really super beneficial, because what Saturn does with this restriction, these boundaries, and what um, is it tries to have you manifest that dreamy romanticization, that idealism that you had. It tries to help you manifest that into reality, because every time you got maybe close to this lover or romance or child thing, it kept slipping out of your hands somehow. Um, there was confusion here, and there were no boundaries. So Saturn threw you an anchor and started actually pulling you back into shore. And yes, it could have manifested in restricting your fun, your romance, lovers, children, and things like that. So the last 2 years might have been where you started seeing this hardship, and also it could have had some endings with that, because there were a lot of losses within the past 2 years with Saturn coming in. Now, Neptune will go into Aries, and that is your sixth house, again, of health, habits, routines, scheduling, and all that. I mentioned all, a lot of things. And Aries, remember, is the me first sign. It is about image, and it's ruled by Mars, the warrior. So, this image of romanticizing the warrior or the compassionate hero, um, male male energies here. I mean, you don't have to be a man. You can be a woman, and it could be like the Joan of Arc type of deal. But it'll not romanticize these things, and somehow that will affect your sixth house of health and routine and scheduling. Saturn. Oh, the other thing. So there may be an issue with your health, where it might be like, God forbid, if you have a health issue, it might be undiagnosable, or there might be confusion about a health issue. Um, it is also, the sixth house is the house of gossip, chaos. Um, Gossip, because you're regarding your 10th house of career is all involved, and family is involved, so authority figures and parents, there might be some gossip or rumors or whatever, but Neptune will sort of give you these rose colored glasses to ignore those things, and that's where you start drifting out to sea. That's where boundary lines are crossed. Okay, so there's that danger of that, and health issues, and what have you. Well, lucky for us, this time around, Neptune is not left to his own devices at the beginning of this journey. Saturn, right away, also changes from Pisces and goes into Aries. And he's like, oh, no, 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 no. We're not going to do that this time. We're going to start off with, he's going to come in right towards a few weeks later, after Neptune enters Aries, and you get this romanticization. A few weeks later, Saturn comes in and says, hold up, before you get carried away here, um, he's going to give you some restrictions. But it's not like it was before. It'll be tools to give you. So the anchor analogy, and boundary lines. He's setting up a structure, a foundation for you, so that when after 2 years, when Saturn leaves Aries and leaves you alone to Neptune's devices, that you will recognize any boundaries being erased. And if you get too far at sea, you'll have those tools of these first 2 years to, sorry, it cut off. Like I said, it's a generic video editor. So yeah, so you'll have these tools to pull yourself back. And Saturn can manifest actually in, because it is the sixth house, and sixth house is ruled by Virgo. So Virgo also rules medicine, and is the expert of sixth house of organization. Saturn may manifest in nutritionists or therapists, or assistants that are going to be super beneficial to you. Um, the other thing is that because uh, Aries is the sign of image and appearance, and the me first sign, um, whatever your daily routine is, and then you might be thinking about image profile or what have you. So any dangers about plastic surgery or these new fads with the with diet, those pens, or what have you. So yeah, Saturn will manifest into maybe a person or people that will warn you about any dangers and what have you. So you'll have those tools to help you navigate when Neptune leaves, like I mentioned. The next biggest event and surprise, you will cheer at this one because this one is really important to you. It is the planet of shock, surprise, electricity, Uranus, that has been transiting Taurus. And Taurus is your seventh house of all kinds of partnerships, contractual partnerships, so business partnerships. It can be platonic partnerships. Anyone who really knows you really, really well, who can hold up a mirror to you, is considered a partner. So a sister can be a partner, an aunt, an uncle, a friend. So you've had surprises with shocking and abrupt surprises regarding a partner or your partnerships. With Uranus, it is feast or famine. Okay. uh, and where you thought you were going with a partnership or partnerships, it kept picking you up and turning you 180 degrees. And that didn't stop. It kept turning you and ending relationships, beginning relationships, triangle relationships, crazy surprises with Uranus in your seventh house. And since Taurus is natally the second house of job and income, it could have had to do with also money, um, or a job or what have you. Well, goodbye to all those abrupt things because Uranus finally ends its long tour, 7 long years of touring Taurus. So that stops. And Scorpios are not are not like Aries or Sagittarius or Gemini. They like stability. They're like almost like Capricorn. They hate these abrupt things that are happening. So that's one good thing to look forward to, Scorpio. That house will calm down. Now, Uranus, of course, leaves Taurus, but it enters Gemini. Um, and Gemini is your eighth house of um, intimacy, sex, um, the mortgage, joint finances, taxes, government benefits, inheritance. It is the house where you gain from other people, mostly with money, um, and in lump sums. Okay, um, so you're going to have surprises and shifts in this area, but it's not like Taurus. It's not an Earth sign. It's not so much, because Taurus is kind of stubborn and takes a long time to make decisions. Gemini is an air sign. It's very airy. Again, it's very uplifting. It's very high and what have you. So it won't be as stubborn or stuck here. Okay, but it is Uranus, and really we can't predict with Uranus because it's a planet of shock and surprise and very futuristic. But there's a dual theme here because of Gemini. Gemini is the sign of the twins, and Gemini also rules the third house of communication and community, neighbors, siblings, cousins, social media. So there you might be meeting some really connected people, maybe in regards to if you have things going on with government benefits or taxes or something like that, or talkative people where intimacy, um, maybe you need like a therapist or something if that happens. The clue here is what Jupiter has been doing in Gemini the past um, 6 months, because Jupiter entered Gemini in May of last year, and it will be in Gemini until June. June, it changes signs to Cancer. So that'll give you. I mean, Jupiter's not done with Gemini yet, so just look to this next 4, 5, 6 months. It'll give you a clue. In the last 6 months, it may give you a clue to what was expanding in your eighth house. Um, and for many of you, if you got married, your joint finances may be expanded, or maybe a government benefit. Maybe you applied for, you older Scorpions. Maybe that was you were seeing that, mm. Or you could have had a lot of sex. But it's Gemini. It's a dual theme, so I don't know if you Any of you guys? Well, some of you, yeah, we're in like a triangle situation. In any case, we're moving on to Jupiter's transit. Jupiter is entering Gemini, is entering Cancer, like I told you, in June. And that is your ninth house of long distance travel, foreigners, foreign countries, higher education, publishing, and the World Wide Web. And again, it can also be inclusive of the law and philosophy. So Jupiter will be expanding this, excuse me, this area for you. And Jupiter is a benefic planet, so it protects this this house, the area that it's transiting. And because, like I mentioned before, Cancer is the ruler natally of home and family and parents, um, it could be an expansion of your home and family. Okay. If you do have an elderly parent, you might have them move in with you. Or if it is about your own family, maybe starting a new family, is going to be that. Or if you're getting married. Or it can be mundane as, an expansion like renovation, upgrading. Um, or if a child goes off to school and you're downgrading, it won't be a downgrade because it'll be something new, like a maybe new home. um, but like I mentioned in the beginning, because the ninth house is involved, Cancer is your ninth house rather. You might be, and because Pluto is in Aquarius, you might have this maybe two home dual theme, or a new country can be your home. um, uh, Here, so Jupiter takes 1 year to go through each sign. So it takes 12 years for Jupiter to complete the zodiac. So think 12 years back, when you had Jupiter in Cancer. And that'll be like the flavor, the theme. It won't be exactly what was happening with your ninth house of travel back then, because different planets were doing different things, but it at least gives you like a clue, like a theme. But in essence, it expands and it protects. And and it's good because we have a trine coming in, but I'll discuss that in 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 the in the yearly lineup. I'm just reading my notes. Sorry. Um, yeah, it might be an expansion of your career as well here, tied in with the ninth house of travel and education. Uh, okay, so that those are the all the themes for the year. Okay, and then we go back to the past. And please don't be like swearing at me and kicking your phone or tablet. You're like, oh my god, all this new stuff, and you're going to take us back to the past? Hell no. No, you are not going to that back to that past. It will be a brand new world, and it'll be a brand new you. Um, but we are going back to the past, because for a lot of us, and many of you, it will be either a resolution, a reconcilement, or if it is an ending of this book, the last chapter, it can be closure. Um, Almost like what Virgos are doing. You guys are going to get your groove back, and it's something about compassion all rolled in, and it is a water sign because we're Neptune and Saturn are going to go back into Pisces, and that is totally cool with your energy. But if you are reconciling, um, with a past friend, family, or a partner or whatever, this will happen at the end of the year. Final, like the final reconcilement, or if it is resolution, if you're solid as a rock and everything's fine, but whatever stickling issue, whatever this yearning is, you find resolution and you go strong, a strong, even a stronger couple into the future. Or like I said, if it is the ending, you as well as the other person need closure. There's compassion in this closure, because what you don't want to do in the future is go into the future with half your heart, with luggage. Um, because the saying goes, if you hold on to two things, you end up losing both. So you want to release the past, put the past behind you, and then go forward, so that you're like, the vacuum analogy. The universe just completely fills you with the new and better things to come. So let us look at the planetary alignment, because there's a lot of things that are that I didn't mention in this, um, like generic theme. So let's start with February because we left off January. And like I said, in the beginning with that alignment, I've highlighted things that are, I've specialized it personally for each sign. So for you, I've put your like Scorpio on that. So if you want to follow along with me or later, whatever. So on February 4th, what you will be most concerned is Venus entering Aries. Again, that is your sixth house of health habits and routines, and Venus attracts money, fortune, and fame and love. You're going to be attracting that through your sixth house of schedules and routines and health. Okay, March is busy. So March 13th, we have a total lunar eclipse in Virgo. So remember, I said the eclipse, the beginnings and endings. So a lunar eclipse, and this is a total lunar eclipse. So this is an ending, full stop. Um, and Virgo is your 11th house of friends, groups, circles, and associations. So something is ending here. Um, and that's because it is ending it because to free you of of that friendship or of that group or of that circle, because beginnings are going to happen in your Pisces related, your fifth house of romance. So it might be a friend that's you're ending. A friend becomes a lover, for example, in the future. Okay, something like that. The next thing is the sun on the 19th. The sun conjuncts Neptune in Pisces. Oh, I'm looking at your notes and not my notes. Silly me, because I'm like, where are my notes on this? I'm making it up as I go. Okay, yeah, here we go. So back to February 4th when Venus enters Aries. See, I forgot to mention this. You could be getting a new job here or getting more money because you're working a lot. Or you might meet someone at work. Remember, it's Venus. On March 13th, I said the total lunar eclipse. Um, and ending with a friend or group, this is releasing you from these people, maybe because you're getting busy with a romance or a child. And family may play a bigger role here. But it could be because this friendship may no longer serve you or they. It could be due to traveling more too, or because setting you up for a new friend that will help you more with the shifts that's going on. Or finally, it could be that a friend stops being a friend and turns into a romance. And it could be karmic, like I said, because it's the lunar nods. The next most important thing is on the 27th. Venus retrograde will conjoin Neptune in Pisces. This is very nice. This restores you. This centers you. And because it's Pisces, Pisces is the sign of the two fish. One goes one way, the other goes the other way. And Pisces has a tendency to disappear. And no, not because they're nebulous, but it's because they're so compassionate. They for everyone, they like internalize other people's problems. They disappear to regenerate, rejuice, and then they come back strong. So this on the 27th with Venus conjoining Neptune is restoring you, is rejuicing you, is regenerating your energy. On the 29th of March, we will have a partial solar eclipse in Aries. This is a semi new beginning. So, some semi new routine schedule or taking care of someone, maybe a health diagnosis, um, is revealed here. Um, it's coinciding with Venus retrograde period. So take note. Like I said, we'll discuss that in March. No, that's not what I said, but we'll discuss that in March's horoscopes because I do detailed monthly horoscopes. Or I might even, yeah, maybe I'll do a dedicated video for these eclipses. And your lineup shows the Venus retrograde because Venus does not usually retrograde. It's very rare. And this year it will because we have these huge shifts, and especially with Pisces and Aries. So that was at the beginning of the planetary lineup if you want to see the dates. It also coincides with on April 4th, Saturn in Pisces will sextile Uranus in Taurus. Lovely, very nice. Besides the reducing, the this restorative energy, you get healing and support. Um, and since because last 7 years of like this feast or famine of your partnership house, and because Uranus is leaving, this healing energy is either you understanding what your partners were going through, or you will understand that that was either like a maybe whatever they were doing that was surprising or abrupt for you. Maybe it was a projection, okay, or you understand your own shifts, especially regarding communication. That's what caused these instability in your relationship house. So it could be yes, a reconcilement because it was all about uh, after you go through all this cathartic healing and then talk much ado about nothing. Or for other Scorpios, it could be the path to this huge cathartic closure. Remember, end of the year, we revisit the past for either final reconcilements, resolutions, or closures. The next thing that's important for you is April 7th. Saturn will conjunct Venus in Pisces. Saturn loves, adores Venus, almost thinks of her like a daughter, but it's Saturn, so this is serious. And Venus is a serious sign. So it may be about a child or a romance. One scenario could be coinciding with if a romance from the past comes back, because Venus retrogrades brings sometimes past lovers back, um, or an ex. So if it's a romance from the past, and maybe you have a new romance going on, maybe here a serious decision needs to happen. Or if it is only one person, discussions regarding maybe boundaries or rules, to again manifest reality, or a new way forward could be discussed. Um, or again, it could be maybe a serious discussion regarding closure. All right, we'll move on to the 20th. The Sun in Taurus will square Mars in Leo. The Sun is illuminating your seventh house, Scorpio, here. Everyone sees what has been going on, or if they have known, you start discussing it with others, right? On the 23rd, Venus conjoins the North Node. That's cool. That's not, we'll discuss that in your monthly scope. And here we go. The last and third fight between Pluto and Mars is happening on April 26th. Mars is direct now and is going furiously and fast in Leo. And Leo is, how can I forget already? Shame on me. I drew a blank. Leo is your 10th house. Oh my God. So Leo is your 10th house of career status, authority figures. And Aquarius is your fourth house of home, family, and parents. So this is a powerful opposition, but Mars is direct now, and it has gone through the discipline of the retrograde. So you have the power and the tools, but you're going up against Pluto, and it's your home and family. So use discipline, because Pluto respects discipline, and you are used to Pluto energy. Um, Let me just think. Mars in your 10th house is opposing Aquarius. So you might here maybe one scenario can play out where, if you're an only child and you maybe have a single parent. This is just an example, please. So you're an only child and you have one parent, and maybe your parent depends on you, and but here you decide to get married, but you can't leave your parent alone for some reason. But your marriage or your partner here, like status, because career and status is married, not married, single, not single. So a fear, because Pluto rules fear, a fear here is either from a partner or maybe your family member that, if you get married they're going to lose you, or if your partner is saying, oh my God, if we go through with this marriage, you're going to have to take care of your parent. That's just only one example, but it's an opposition, and it's a powerful opposition. And like I told you, Pluto would love for you to destroy something here in your fourth house of home and family, because he wants to transform it after the destruction, and he wants you to face your fear here. Okay. um, but Mars is direct and it's fearless, but it can be explosive, so please use just self-discipline and restraint. But these are powerful planets. These are new shifting energies. Whatever is meant to be happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. But that's we'll discuss more in detail with your April horoscope, and probably I'll be doing it in February and March as well, because it's still Mars will still be in these signs. We're gonna move on. On the 30th, Venus re-enters Aries direct this time. So that is good. Whatever you are seeing, because when Venus goes retrograde, it not only brings back someone from the past, that's the, maybe for some it's a good thing, but if Venus attracts romance, fortune, fame, when it goes retrograde, she can be pretty Venus is, oh my God. I always struggle to find the word to describe Venus. She can be nasty. So when she goes back, she withdraws love, money, fortune, and fame. So here on the 30th, when she's going direct, it's hallelujah. If you were experiencing any of the nasty side of Venus prior to that. All right, on May 2nd, Venus will conjunct Neptune in Aries, and it's direct. Whoo, yippee! Dreamy, very, very lovely, an idealistic love connection, and maybe a longing is realized here. Well, not realized like manifested in real, but something regarding your health, your routine, your image here is being highlighted, and it's very nice. Okay, so that is the second, and on where do we go? Where do we go? Oh, here. The 24th of May, Saturn enters Aries. So the reality checks, the boundaries, the restrictions, and the tools will start manifesting through Saturn um, to help you realize your dreams into reality regarding your Aries related house. And I discussed that in the beginning. Um, June 9th, Jupiter enters Cancer. Yay! So Jupiter is very powerful here. It loves being in Cancer. And it can have, it is your ninth house of travel, but it can have something regarding family because it's Cancer. So expanding travel, education, foreigners, excuse me. The only thing be cautious of is because of the ninth house of foreigners or foreign to you, or you might be traveling far from family or having, because of your career, you might be having these dual homes. And you, like I said, you may want to form a family far away from your own family, like parents. And especially because Pluto in Aquarius in your fourth house of home and family. Um, and Aquarius is all about the group and the clan. And Aquarius is fast and can be very uplifting. So it could give you this sense of belonging because that's what you'll be you'll be when Pluto transits Aquarius and it's your fourth home and family, and when you start delving into your roots, you might want to feel that you never belonged or family was there was an issue with family. Sorry. And also because Pluto is testing you here and Jupiter is expanding your foreign and travel house. Just be careful of here. Just be careful of like clicks, um, a following, like fandom, um, like a sect, persuasion, discipleship, cults. Um, but Jupiter here is the planet of protection and comes in as we actually see here. See, boom. June here. Pay attention to this. June 15th and 18th, Jupiter in Cancer will square Saturn in Aries. And then on the 18th, Jupiter in Cancer will square Neptune in Aries also. Very important. And Jupiter square Saturn are it's huge. So these squares is some type of a wake up call because of Jupiter's protection and because Saturn is giving you these tools to pull you back. So it might be your real family. Like I said, with Pluto and Aquarius and you traveling, you might like join a, like a sect or something, like a clique. Um, so your real family, friends might be warning you here. Um, like, exactly. If it's a cult, do not touch it with a 10-foot pole, Scorpio. I'm telling you, I don't care how intense you are, and um, experimenting in the taboo and these things, but don't go there. I don't care if Pluto's your ruler. Pluto's still going to test you. Listen to your family, um, because but really listen because you may see family and friends warning you about this new group you're belonging to. You may see it as jealousy from your family and friends. Remember, it is a Neptune, illusion and deception, and you're going to probably be like a Cancer. Cancer is my travel house, yes, but it's also rules family, and you'll be like Aries is my sixth house of routine. What the hell? But yes, but it's also a very fiery sign, very like independent, like leave me alone. and you have Pluto superseding all these signs. So, mm, mm. In any case, there's going to be heated, tense arguments and discussions. Um, and you may have your own confusion about these warnings, but just don't nobody loves you more than family. Okay, it's unconditional love, and just be aware of like weird cults out there. But other than that, it might manifest something else. I'm not going to spend more time on it. I think I'm over an hour already. We'll be doing monthly horoscopes and details. Just mark that on your calendar. Okay, July 7th. Well, July 4th, Neptune starts retrograding in Aries. So you get this chance of revisiting what has happened, your romanticization of your sixth house for the past month or two. On the 7th, Uranus enters Gemini. Like I told you, yay, stability and calmness to your seventh house, but you get enlightening shifts regarding your eighth house of intimacy. Inheritance. I think many of you will something about inheritance or gaining from others. The next most important thing for you is July 30th, Venus enters Cancer. So, whatever tense situation that happened with a Jupiter square Neptune and Saturn that I just warned you about, this starts to smooth over. And you start to see things clearly, and it's direct, so it's good, but just be cautious. All right, on August 6th, Mars enters Libra. Mars is your ruling planet, so um, if it's not outward energy, because Libra is your 12th house of the past, of secrets and behind the scenes. It might be internalized energy of faith, past, of secrets, and it could include relationships because it's Libra. Or it could be just you researching or working really diligently and hard on something behind the scenes, um, and maybe regarding your faith. Or it could be as mundane as just, burning the candle at both ends because you're preparing for a new semester, if you're a student or something like that. Okay, on the 8th, Mars in Libra, in Libra will trine Uranus in Gemini. Also on the same day, Mars in Libra will oppose Saturn, retrograde in Aries. So again, internal energy regarding faith, past secrets, your psyche, and it could be about relationships, but this time it is in opposition. So you get the good juju vibes regarding your past or secrets or about your psyche because you're working really hard on it. And it does trine the planet of shock and surprise in Gemini, your eighth house of sex, joint finances, and inheritance. But Mars opposes Saturn here, and Saturn is in your house of daily routines, retrograde, going over what it was teaching you about rules and restrictions. So it could be mundane, as having to declare a major about your school or school schedule or changing studies because of Jupiter's expanding your ninth house. Or it could be because you're planning a travel and you may get stuck with some red tape about, a visa or paperwork. Or um, um, it might be about taking care of someone because it's your sixth house of taking care of other people. Uh, or it can have something to do with that Jupiter square Saturn. So mark that on your calendar. We'll discuss that in your horoscope, monthly horoscope. On the 9th, Mars in Libra will oppose Neptune in Aries this time. So confusing conversations regarding what I just mentioned, or it could be about that Jupiter square Cancer, or Jupiter and Cancer square Neptune and Saturn. So there might be confusing conversations because Neptune is retrograde. On the 27th of August, Venus in Leo sextiles Uranus in Gemini, and Venus in Leo trines Neptune in Aries. Hallelujah! So the opposition energy and that square energy is broken up, and Venus starts to smooth over all these areas. Very nice. We'll discuss it more in your monthly scope, but just note this for your yearly calendar. Very nice energy here. Smooths it out. Yeah, everything you start clearly seeing the benefit, and it's out of love that this is happening. All right, September 1st, Saturn retrograde enters, then leaves Aries retrograde and enters Pisces, and we're back to the past. On the 4th of September, Mars in Libra, which is your 12th house of secret, will square Jupiter in Cancer, your ninth house. Didn't I just mention this? Oh no, that was Jupiter. That was Saturn. All right. So again, Mars is your ruler, and it doesn't like much be like being in Libra actually, because Libra is indecisive and can be stubborn, but Libra is powerful. She's a cardinal sign, and also wanted to mention Libra rules like the law, this the blind justice. So this could be just you working behind the scenes of maybe that red tape that I was telling you about regarding traveling or foreign lands, or you may be setting up accommodations, maybe dorming if you're a student, or if it is about a lawful matter, you are getting some sort of protection from Jupiter here, um, and it may be from protection from a foreigner or a school or a family member. Maybe you're just getting insurance because you're going to study abroad. I don't know, but that's the fourth. All right, the seventh, total lunar eclipse in Pisces, your fifth house. So, an ending of a love, a romance, a child, or a pet situation. Look to the eclipse from September because it's coinciding with the partial solar eclipse in Virgo in a few days. And what that means is because on the 21st, a few days later, we'll have a partial solar eclipse in Virgo. So a sneak peek, maybe introduced to a person who will be significant later on as a friend who helps you because of the partial solar eclipse, meaning more there could be more lunar eclipse endings in your Virgo house of previous friends that have to be cleared away first. Um, and so that you have these new friends or these new helpers coming in. All right, we'll discuss more. On the 22nd, Mars will enter your sign. Woohoo! And finally, all that inward energy becomes outward, and you are on fire, Scorpio. This is when you are going to move really rapidly. You have completed the inner work when Mars was in Libra, and regarding your past and your psyche. And now you have confidence and assurance of exactly what you want and what you don't want, and you start moving fast. On October 14th, Venus in Libra trines Uranus in Gemini. Venus in Libra trines Pluto in Aquarius. Wow. Very, very nice energies here. With Mars in your sign and the inner work resolved, your actions are equating in these trines. Very good and very beneficial. Regarding your eighth house of intimacy, joint finances, inheritance, government benefits, and any commuting or communication, maybe your social media, um, and family is a home and family is approving of this because Pluto is approving of inner work that you have done. There you go. Maybe this is your first test that you pass, but just hold on, not to the past, but to your newfound inner strength and power. Remember, Pluto is about inner power, facing and losing your fear and control through sheer self-discipline and restraint. More to come. Remember, I'm doing the dedicated video on Pluto and Aquarius for the next 5 years. I'll be uploading those soon. But see, here you go. I forgot to mention this. These shifts of these heavy duty planets into these new signs um, will only do a few months, and then they'll retrograde back. And then starting January 2026, they all move permanently into these new signs. So this late spring into late summer starting September gives you a sneak peek, a movie trailer of what this new book is about, because remember, it's all big outer planets shifting after 7 years, 14 years, 2 years, all that. So it's not another chapter. That book was closed with Pluto and Capricorn, Uranus and Taurus, the eclipses. Now we're starting a new book in your life. The saga continues. So this is the sneak peek, probably your first test with the Jupiter square and all that. November, Mars enters Sagittarius. I highlighted this for you because it's important, because it's your second house of money. So just be careful because Mars in second house of money can equate to overspending. And it could be regarding school, maybe, because Sagittarius rules the ninth house of education and foreigners. So it might be about something about foreigners, maybe. Um, or it could be you're getting a new job or your career is expanding somehow and you're making all this moolah, which is nice. On the 9th of November, Mercury will retrograde in Sagittarius and your sign. This is very important because with retrogrades, you want what you want to do. And it's rare to have retrogrades in two signs. And at the end of this year, we're having it. So have plan A, B, C, and yes, D, especially in regards to any image changes, because it's retrograding in your first house. So plastic surgery, weight loss, tattoos, hair, wardrobe, anything that's irreversible, you want to hold off until it goes direct. And regarding Sagittarius and your money house, and because Sagittarius rules foreigners, foreign places, and education, and is always opposed by Gemini, because that is opposite Sagittarius. So any travel arrangements, and since Gemini is your sixth house of business and chaos, yes, astrology is layered, and it is a wheel within a wheel within a wheel. So just covering all bases for you. So just have plan A, B, C, and yes, double yes, D, and make sure you're out of shadow retrograde. And then finally, we end the month of December with all these signs, all these heavy duty planets um, transiting the last, what we call critical 29th degree of Pisces and Uranus. Okay, your fifth house and your partnership house. So that's what I told you about the last chapter, the first book of the saga. With we are going to want to have resolution, or we're reconciling, or we're having some compassionate closure. and and a lot of things will change before you get to here, so don't think like you're in this different mindset now. At the end of the year, like I said, you'll be in a new world, you'll be in a new mindset, you'll have a new confidence. So don't fear what's coming. It's actually what will make you whole and take you into the future, so that you not hanging on to two things, and because you'll both lose both things. And like I told you, a lot of you will be reconciling or finding resolution, but some of you will be ending it completely. But you have closure, and you just like Virgo, you get your groove back, Scorpio. Please trust me. Of course, you don't trust because it takes a lot for you to trust someone. And then the Venus retrogrades, like I said, will play a huge thing with and Mars. So that is all that is there. I hope you found this informative, if not at least entertaining. And if you did, consider subscribing. If not, if you're not into subscription, even though it's free, um, uh, do smash the like button, because it really helps me and helps my channel. And I just started this. I've done this for a long time, but I just got the courage after my mom's passing away to get myself busy and maybe make this into a career. um, in any case, yeah, just and it's free to hit the like button. Okay, Scorpio, I will talk to you soon.